Welcome to Earth Radiance TV. I'm your host, Tammie Pike, and I'm so honored to have you on this journey of self-love and self-discovery with me. I have created Earth Radiance TV as a remedy to combat women feeling alone in life, love, family, and business. Within this series, I will be interviewing women who are going against the normalcy of society and are living, loving, mothering, and doing business their own unique way. So get comfortable and give yourself permission to be inspired by the wisdom, love, learnings, and truth of each woman as she unfolds her journey with you. Welcome, beautiful, to Earth Radiance, a place for you to be real, be wild, and be you. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Earth Radiance TV. I'm so honored to have you here, and today I'm so excited to share a woman who is a game changer. She is moving and shaking the world at the moment, especially in her local community. So welcome, Samantha, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Tammie. I'm excited to have a chat with you.
It's quite funny. Sam and I have known each other for, I think, over a year and a bit now. And we've just been chatting for like, I don't know, nearly half an hour already. So we thought we'd better get on this and share her magic and her passion, because once you connect with Sam, you'll understand why she is so magnetic and drawing women together to support them in being all that they can be and getting their message shared out to the world. So a bit about Sam. Samantha Moir, the founder of the Warrior Women Network, is a strong advocate for women being strong, successful, and supported in their business. Helping women find their confidence, leverage their strengths, and share their passion with the world is the direction of the Warrior Women Network and the women included within the group. Samantha is out to uplift and support women who are ready to find their purpose and their tribe. Oh, I love that, because Sam, ever since I've met you, you've always been about supporting and collaborating and getting women out there to really stand up and be seen in the world. So I would love to ask you, what has led you on this path to be doing this?
So, great question. It all kind of leads back. I think everyone can understand that some of the best seeds are grown in shit. Right? So the hardest time that you have is normally and the most success and the most vision that you have for what you want to do always starts in that struggle point, right? Because you're at that, what am I going to do? I have to make changes and I've got to make them now. And that's kind of what happened for me. After my relationship broke down with my son's father last year, I was really aware of what that effect was doing to me, like what that meant for me as an individual going forward. And I think anyone who has gone through any type of adversity that kind of leaves you questioning your identity and what you do and what you're putting out in the world and how people see you, how you see yourself, can understand that the line has to be drawn in the sand to go, okay, I need to step up here because it's my time. Like, there's no one else to fix this. There's no one else to choose for me. There's no one else to tell me what to do. This has to come organically from me. So after we had separated, I was looking at just finances. I was looking at myself. I was looking at just everything was in review. And I went, it would be so easy to fall into that social welfare trap, and not just the social welfare trap, but the mental trap that goes with that. Like, oh, well, I can't do anything now because of, X, Y, Z. And I did go through a bit of a phase like that, but I didn't want to put myself in a position where I locked my mental state in with that. And it was something that I spoke to a lot of women, like we connected right in that time, like you kind of met me right in that time of being like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, who I am, what I'm all about. But the one thing that kind of rang true and ran straight through the middle when I spoke to everyone about what I was going through, and even if they were going through different stages and where they were, was every one of us didn't know how amazing we were in what we were doing. We were so busy to go, yes, but, or we can't, or it's not the right time, or I can't really do it. And we were all going through this. And I was looking at these other women going, if only you could see what I could see. and trying to explain that to them in what they were doing with their businesses and things like that. So I kind of had to turn that around and look at me, and I was like, what do I want to do? What do I love doing? And I was like, I love speaking to people. I love speaking to women. And then the more I kind of refined what I really love doing, it was, I don't want any woman to ever come out of a situation where or be in a situation where they're not really feeling 100% behind themselves and what they're doing. So, and the reason that I focused it on business, it's more soulful business as well, why I wanted to connect with women, because business and personal life aren't really separate anymore. They're very much interlinked. What your passion and what you're laying out there is very emotionally connected to who you are, and it's very much about who you are and who you're helping and what makes you driven into the world, and the purpose that you're trying to see is very interlinked with who you are and what you're putting out there. So I was like looking at these women who had these amazing businesses, but they weren't putting a lot into themselves and vice versa. So when they would start to pull back from their business, I knew they were pulling back from themselves and questioning if they were good enough for it, if they were smart enough, if they were educated enough, qualified enough, all those different things. If they were able, if they were fear of failure, they had fear of success, but all that stuff that was coming from business was actually coming really from themselves with that. And I just wanted to be the person to go, if you're not going to shout about you, I will, and I'll teach you how, right? So I'll teach you how to be, as excited and as clear about what I can see and what your potential is. And then you can follow suit. Sometimes people just need to be shown the way sometimes. And I wanted to be the platform that went, I'm going to lift you up and I'm going to shake you around so that everyone can see you, so that eventually you'll go, actually, I am really good at what I do, or I am really strong in what I'm doing. I am really passionate about what I'm doing, and I am going to put myself out there because I'm loving what I do and this is who I am, and being confident to get behind it,
Yeah, and it's so interesting and really, I guess, empowering when we come through that struggle, that adversity, and we find this passion ignited in ourselves to do the learnings, to go through our own growth, but then to create it into a business. Like, that is huge, because it's so much easier this day and age, but it's still a commitment. It's a commitment to ourselves and to our desires and our passion in helping others. But do you feel that by creating a business, because it's not easy, like, I think people see you when you're at, a certain level, and they see what they see on social media, and they think that, oh my God, you're doing amazing. That must be so easy. Lucky you. And I want to talk about that in a minute. Really, business for me it reflects my personal development. Like, if I am feeling really low on my self-worth or self-confidence, my business drops down. And because especially with these soulful businesses, you are your business is you. And I just want to ask you, how has that, I guess, supported you and helped you keep motivated in empowering yourself, that continuation of self-development?
One of the biggest areas that had to change for that to do well, and for me to be doing what I'm doing, and this was really hard for me, this is why I can talk about it, was being okay with failing. Now, I think everybody hears that and like, be okay to fail and be, and I've said it myself, but I think you really have to, because what I find is people that have high expectations of other people have ridiculously high expectations for themselves. So they're not willing to embrace the journey of falling over and going, I'm just going to work it out. Like, I'm just going to find my path in what I'm doing. And that was something that for me to be where I am today was to go, because I used to follow a lot of people. I used to follow a huge amount of groups and a lot of corporate business stuff. And I had to just one day sweep it all out and go, do you know what, if I fall down, it's my journey. Like, I want to be able to understand how I got here because I chose to get here, so that I can really value those lessons and really value how I got to this point, so I can actually see my timeline of my own growth, as opposed to following direction from things that weren't speaking true to me. So I found that was the way that I've kind of supported myself. And like you said, when business goes down, you tend to be going down with it at the same time. That was And I do have these conversations regularly going, why are you expecting me to be perfect all the time? Because if you can't fall over and just be like, well, that sucks, or that failed, or I'm not as hard on myself anymore. It's just, it is what it is. And I'm happy just to go along with that. So I've really had to learn how to just go, no matter what happens or how anyone else feels about it or what it looks like or whatever it's doing, I have to just be okay of falling over. A kid doesn't learn how to walk in one go. They have to just keep at it, and they have to have that inner resilience just to keep getting back up and walking, because it's what they want to do. And they know at the end of the day, they're going to start walking, but they know they're going to have to fall over probably 300 times before they get their balance. So I'm just in that phase of going, I'm happy just to fall over. And things tend to flow better because I'm not so stressed about the result as what I am about the learning. I want to just be learning, because where I started is nowhere near where I am now in direction. So I can flow with that a lot better, because I'm not so like, oh, I fell over, it's all over. It's just, I need to lean on something else or someone else, or, you know, find another way of getting up again. So that's kind of really supported me in being okay with the decision making about what I'm doing. So
yeah, amazing. No, that's fantastic. And it's so true. And I think this is the thing, is that especially for women in business, if you're a mom, if you have a side job, you can have that time to grow your business. You know what I mean? Sometimes we want to make it happen straight away, but like ourselves, our business takes time to evolve and grow, especially when you're starting from scratch. You know, like you're starting a whole new thing, a whole new energy and vibration. And like you said, a toddler, a baby needs to learn how to walk and then run and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same with our business. And I really think this is where we can bring in, I want to touch on a couple of things, is we as women, mums, as business owners, is a lot different to a woman who is just, you know, focusing solely on herself and her life without children. Mm-hmm. When we bring children into the mix, it's a whole new level, because not only are we having to be a mother, a wife or partner, or even just a single mum, which encompasses a whole lot more responsibility, but also to, like, it's finding that balance and letting go of the shame and guilt, working through all those conditioned emotions that we're supposed to feel about not being, you know, solely focused just on our kids. Because when we divert our attention to something that we truly love, it's seen, it's not as taboo as what it used to be, but we still have that conditioning where, you know, we're not that mum who's, you know, doing everything for their child or being Betty Crocker in the kitchen. So I want to ask you, how did you transition through that space, and what supported you to become really more able to feel confident in running your business and spending the time on yourself and your development and your business whilst having kids?
So that was really tricky. I think anyone who's a mum will agree. No one tells you how much guilt you're going to feel as a mother from pretty much day one. So when you feel like you're choosing your business, you feel like it's an all or nothing choice. If I choose my business, I'm choosing not to be involved. Family, like it's a really polarizing duality. Whereas, and again, what I was talking about before about kind of moving through that was, I have spent, if I was to calculate the hours I've spent worrying, stressing, trying to perceive how other people perceive what I'm doing, I am working a 50-hour week in my head, aside from business and work and children and everything. I'm constantly thinking about, you know, what that looks like, how I feel about it, what I'm choosing, what I'm doing. Whereas now it's more so I've got to the point where I'm like, do you know, this is my life. Like, this is my life. I am never going to fit into a box in that. I mean, who wrote that book? Where is this book? Because I haven't read it, but we all know it, right? Like, we all seem to have this ingrained in us, but I don't remember reading this book. And my biggest thing is when you can make peace with, and this is a huge mantra I live by, if you can make peace with the worst case scenario and actually get your head around that side of things, then you can be like not so shocked. I think people, when they make choices about, I'm going to have business, I'm going to have children, they start going into these hypothetical stories of, what if my kids this happens and I can't make it? And then what if business falls apart and I'm not present enough? We start just creating a false sense of reality. So now I'm just like, okay, well, if business falls down, I got into business so I wasn't strapped 9 to 5. So why am I trying to do a 9 to 5 in my own business? I could be at work. If I want to work 10 till 2, if I want to work weekends, if I want to work 11 o'clock till 3 in the morning, but that's why I got into it. So why am I still in my own business trying to conform it to what I perceive? Because I don't know where those perceptions actually stem from, because they're not mine. So they're coming from someone else. So why am I living someone else's thoughts? I didn't plant them there. They're not mine. So I had to just go, this is the life that I want to live. Like, this is where I want to be. Like, I chose to do this business and about me because it was supposed to be easy. So why am I choosing to make it harder at the same time? Does that make sense? And so in order for me to balance all of the family stuff, I had to really overview what I was doing. Instead of being really in it and being really emotive and being really quick to react. And I think when you're quick to react in emotion too quickly and not kind of sitting back and just letting it sit for a little while, I was so reacting to the false realities I was creating. So it'd be like, no, I'm too busy, or no, I can't do that. But I wasn't actually sitting back and going, I actually have control to say, no, I can't do it, but I can do it at another time. Like, I didn't have to feel like everything was so reactive all the time. So when it comes to kids as well and having a business, I can be like, so I know what I'm trying to role model for, and especially having 2 boys, I know what I want to role model for them, knowing full well that they'll probably go forward seeking someone with similarities to me. I know that sounds really messed up, but, you know, it's having similarities to me. I don't want them to be looking for someone who's one-dimensional, because I've never been one-dimensional, and I want that to be their normal, that the values that I have within my own household is that I've never been, in my own head, I've never been a mum to just want to do everything for everyone. And I've never been like that. And I struggled. That was where my guilt came from, because I felt like I should have been like that, cooking and cleaning and picking up and putting down and just being so available all the time. But it's not in my nature to want to be 100% available for everyone all the time. So I've really had to stick true to what my values are as a parent, to go, in order for me to be able to do these things, my family have to work in the value set that we have, not the one that I'm pushing for because I'm racked with guilt, and it's not even how I live. So I had to really make that clear distinction. So I'm very active with my children in the way that I'm active with them in teaching them to be more self-sufficient and more helpful and more respectful. So one of those things was, I think it was we went out for dinner a couple of months back, and I said, oh, it's my girls' night. And now most kids might be like, Mom, don't go, don't do that. And they were like, oh, yeah, cool. And in that moment, I looked at my boys and went, this is the right choice for me. And this is why business is working, because I'm showing them that I'm not one-dimensional, that there's more to me than just being readily available for them. And their respect for me to go, have fun on your girls' night, Mum. And they're 7 and 5, like understanding I'm not choosing. And again, coming back to that all or nothing polarizing choice. If I go out, I'm not a mum. Like, I'm not doing what I should be doing. Whereas me going out made them go, wow, there's so many aspects to my mum. There's so many, I mean, obviously they're 7 and 5, they're not thinking, and boys are not thinking that emotional, but it's like their acceptance that I have that freedom, and their acceptance that that's still a need for me, is a conversation we probably, and they're probably not going to need to have because it's ingrained in them. So how I balance all of that is going, what are my values? Like, what are my values in what I'm trying to do? What is the life that I want to live? And being very clear about that, regardless of what those other expectations, because I'm having an argument with someone in my head who's not even me. Like, who is that person that just, you know, who are we taking home? We have our children and someone just hops on our back and is just like this, but that's not who I am, and this is not how our kids work. And we're in the best time to be alive to go, you know, I can live the life I want to live. Like, I can be the person that I want to be. I can raise my children the way I want to raise my children, and I can have everything. Why do I have to pick? Why do I have to make these polarizing choices? You don't have to choose between all or nothing. You can have everything. You just have to be clear about how you want it and be okay about getting it the way you want it.
Yeah, amazing. That resonates so much. And I think it's really showing with women. They give themselves the permission to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing. I think women in business mothers in business are really the ones who are transitioning the shift in consciousness, because we are bringing in a new way of parenting. We're bringing in this new way of being within ourselves, of seeking our truth and being all of who we know we are. And I call it her real wild woman. You call it the warrior woman. And see, it's that strong essence of who we are. This is that strength that's going to get us through those tough times where we feel that we just can't go anymore. And then we have this inner reserve that pushes us up and says, yes, you can take that next step, because all it needs is that one next step. And then you find it gets easier and easier again. But we have this inner strength that we usually don't tap into because we don't know about, we aren't aware, because we've never been taught that you are actually empowered. You are a woman who is of this earth, who is of, who creates a baby within her and births them into the world. We are the creators. And this is what's so important, is not only are we running a business, but we are shifting consciousness. We are changing that mindset of how women show up for themselves in the world, and that we can actually do it. So what you said is just so, I want to say, fucking right, because this is the thing. This is how we get to truly be ourselves in this world. And it's not choosing one or the other. It's doing it all, because we can choose to. We can give ourselves permission and letting go of all that bullshit. And usually it is the, the perception of others, of strangers who we don't even know, that we are letting control our actions in our life because we're afraid of their judgments. But the one thing that how we stop that is by turning to the one person who's always going to lead us true, which is ourselves. And I say to every woman I know and work with that if your heart is saying this is true and it feels right and it feels, that this is the right step to take, then trust that, because your heart is never going to lead you astray. Your mind will, because it is basing it on your ego and all these other experiences that you've had. But your heart, if you can connect into that space, will lead you true. And I feel that the women in the soulful business, especially you're so connected to your heart. You're driven by your passions and your purpose. And so you're always going to be led in the right direction, because it's always seeking, how can I make this more fulfilling for myself? How can I make this more fulfilling for others? And in turn, you're never going to take a wrong step. Even if you make a mistake, you're going to learn so much, but you're never doing it to the detriment of others. You're only listening to your soul and how the best way you know how to take that next step. And you might not know the processes, but you'll stumble along the way until you find it. But trusting that it is a process. So that is just, thank you so much for voicing it so amazingly and so powerful, Sam, because that's why I think we resonate so deeply, because we have this knowledge and we have this knowing that every woman on this planet deserves to feel empowered, deserves to know they have a choice, and deserves to know that they can do whatever it is that feels good for them in their family, in their life, in their business, in their relationship, whatever it is. So I would love for you to share, how do women connect with you, and what is it that you provide for them? What can you help women to do to truly shine in this world?
So for people to be able to connect up with me and I'm always, as you know, I love to have a chat. So, just to be able to get to know each other better, they can find me on Facebook at the Warrior Women Network. That's the Facebook page, but more so in the Warrior Women online group, which is linked to that. That's more of just a free space for people just be. And it's definitely business focused, but just to be able to go in there and ask questions and be able to talk and be able to just be around other women. Just the sisterhood is stronger than ever at the moment. And it's really about, as we're talking about collaboration, being in a place and any type of group that allows you to just be. I think experience and being in front of other people breaks down all the barriers that we feel like we hold so tight in ourselves. And that's why I created that group. But I've also got a membership, which is for women who are really serious about business and taking it forward. And we really work more in that leveraging their strengths and understanding who they are and their messaging and what they're trying to do specifically to them. So everybody that I've worked with, their milestones are different. Their goals are different. Who they want to reach is different. So we work really individually to be able to share their message, make them the connections that they want, and be able to find the collaborations that they want, and really be able to take it in a journey that feels that it's value driven from them about what's important to them, not just a one size fits all. So that's kind of where that membership is, and where that's going, and being able to go, you're here, let's get you out there. Like, let's stop playing safe. Let's find ways to get you out into the world and sharing it with everyone. So I've kind of gone out and found connections with other platforms to go, these women mean business and really mean it. They love it. They're driven. They are motivated. They are so in line with what they're talking about that it doesn't have to be something scary, because it just free flows out of them. And I need you to see these women. So I'm kind of creating platforms for them to be seen in the world and being able to go, this is me, like, this is who I am. So we do a lot of work, and and with your groups and things like that, there's a lot of room for them to be able to work through those emotions. And my membership's really business focused, to be like, if you want to go big, let's go big. Like, let's make this as big as what we can and make it as easy a transition as what you want it to be, because this is free flowing out of you. So let's get the world looking at you. So yeah, that's where they can find me.
Amazing. Yeah, what you have done and created is absolutely fantastic. And I think it's quite unique in what it provides, because, you know what I mean? Like, where else do you find that group or someone who is willing to completely go, I know what you do, I love what you do, let's support you, Kate. I think this event, and I think this collaboration, I think this is going to support you. Because for me in business, that's why I joined you, because I love you, and, you know, I think you're fantastic at what you do. and this is why I've done it, because I don't feel like sometimes I'm just so focused on the work I'm doing, I don't get to really get it out there in the world as much. Like, I do these kind of things, but it's still like with the speaking and doing different events and the collaborating. And I'm going, I just don't know where to focus right now, because my work, my mind is focused on bringing this work that I'm doing into my business. And then I have you and the women in there, and to support and say, listen, Sam, I'm not too sure. This is not my area of expertise. Can you help me? And I know every time we've had a session, it's like boom, 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 all these ridiculously amazing directions that are feeling aligned and good to support me in being seen in the world. Because the thing is, if we truly want to grow our business, I think it's how can we be more of service? And by showing up and being seen in a bigger way, we get to be more of service to others. So I love what you're doing, Sam. I think you're an amazing, driven woman with a heart as big as anyone I've ever met, and I love working with you. And I hope that other women who are wanting to grow their business in a soulful way step up and come and connect with you, because I think you're just absolutely amazing.
Oh, thanks. Back at you, babe. Back at you. And it's the same for you. I mean, look, I can't put a time limit on how much I could talk about this. I could talk about it all day, about how important it is for women to be choosing themselves and making those choices. And yeah, if I was to leave a final note on anything, it would be just believe. Just believe as much as what you would in everyone else. Just believe in you just as much as what you do in everyone else, and you'll be able to, draw the line in the sand and go, this is where I step up and this is where I step into what I'm doing. So yeah, I just love seeing women firing on all cylinders and being passionate and just talking about themselves, about, one of the things, and I'm sorry to go off topic, but one of the things that I say to people is don't talk about where you are now, talk about where you're going. And I wish women could see where they're going rather than being centered in that headspace. So that's kind of why I created that group, to be like, I know where you are right now and you're doing the work, but I want you to see where this could go. And because I always want to tap into the original idea, when you woke up at 2 a.m. and you had that moment, that naive moment, is what I always want to tap back into for myself and the women in there. Is at 2 a.m. when this idea originated about what you wanted to do, you thought it was limitless, because you could go, I can see this being really big, and I can see how that. You were just so innocent in where it was going. It wasn't about the work. It was about the whole concept of what you were doing. And I want to tap you back into that to be like, look again, lift your head up and look at the big picture again about where you want to go. That's what I want to tap women back into, because that 2 a.m. wake up of, I've got it. I've got the idea. You aren't going, well, I probably can't do that because, or I'm probably not experienced. You just think it's possible in that moment. And I just want women to tap back into that feeling before the logistics got in the way, and just run from that feeling first. So that's why I created that membership, to be like, let's look at the big picture about where you want to go, and that's where we're going to head, rather than just worrying about writing a blog or doing whatever. It's about seeing it huge. So yeah, that's why I created that.
Fantastic. And so where can people find you? I know we talked about the Warrior Women Network group, was that, and your Facebook pages?
Yes, so they can find me, they can have a look at the website. It's warriorwomennetwork.com. The Facebook page is the Warrior Women Network as well, and Instagram is Warrior Women Network, and you can find me there. But please connect with me personally. So you can find me on Facebook, Samantha Moir. You can find, I've got like a business page for that as well. But connect with me personally, because I'm not a texter, and I want to connect with everyone. I don't want this flat interaction. I want to be doing this, like what we're doing. I want to find out what inspires you and where you're at, and hear your story. So if you have questions about what I'm doing, or you want to know more about what I'm doing, or you are interested in joining, reach out and PM me, and let's talk about it. Let's schedule a call, and let's actually talk and get to know each other, because that's what the whole idea of it is.
Awesome. Amazing. And I'll definitely pop up all the links where people can find you. But thank you so much, Sam, for being here and sharing your amazing message, purpose, and passion. And I just want to thank everyone else who is connecting here today, and to really, you know, if this is you're feeling called to, don't be scared. Like, take that first step, reach out, connect with Sam. And, you know, I think it really will be an amazing experience for everyone. So sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here today. And I look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Sending you all so much love. Bye.